One little last check to make sure everybody will vote for it. I think it's time. Privileges revoked. Very nice. And here's our revoked HRE. Pretty good size, I think. 1478. Not too bad. Did you know that in this version of the game, with the 1.30.1 patch and the Emperor DLC, there's a huge exploit that allows you to make incredible amounts of Imperial Authority, so much so that you should be able to revoke the Privilegia long before you could ever do so in previous patches. I was inspired to investigate this by a Reddit post that I saw, where the guy claimed that he revoked the Privilegia by 1464, which is just incredible. I decided to try to come up with a series of repeatable, less RNG based events that should allow anybody to revoke the Privilegia within the first maybe 3 decades of the game, which is an amazing time frame even in and of itself. So if you're interested and you'd like to support the channel, maybe see more videos like this, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel, and comment down below with other videos that you'd like to see, guide videos or other Emperor content that you think would be interesting. And here we go. Iron Man mode. Revoke quick. And let's start. I'm going to try to make this guide video able to be followed fairly easily, but you also will need to know some basic ways to play the game, obviously. Take care of your estates at the beginning. If you'd like to see a video about estate mechanics, let me know, but I do believe they're going to be changing soon. Pick your rivals. I recommend Bohemia and Venice, and then whomever else you want to after that. I believe I'm going to do the Ottomans. Thinking about Savoy, but no, let's just do the Ottomans. Now, we need to secure the vote. We need 5 electors to be voting for us and have over 100 opinion. Usually that means you can do everybody but Bohemia and either Trier or Brandenburg. But take a look at their rivalries. If you're lucky, then you're going to get Bohemia to be rivaled by Poland. That's what you want, but it's not 100% necessary. Try to avoid wars early, unless they're super easy and very profitable. I was lucky enough to get a subjugation CB from one of my estate interactions, but it probably wasn't necessary. In fact, might have slowed me down later because the Diplo slot was filled. Even if you do get into a side war, keep working on the electors. As soon as you're able to get 5 voting for you and over 100 opinion, make sure you take the mission just in case anything changes. Gotta get that little last bit with him, and I believe we have it. There we go. You might see Naples break out from under Aragon. If so, he makes a good one to start improving with, maybe temporarily ally to get him to join the Empire. The Pope is of course one you want to be going for early, and some other guys in the Balkans. Don't be afraid to drop some of these electors that you don't actually need. You only need like 3 or 4 votes to secure the Empire. If you're lucky enough for Poland to have rivaled Bohemia, then you should call him in on the war. You can promise him territory, and you should actually give him some so that you don't take the trust hit. Also, you should note that Hungary is useless in this war as he has a truce with the Bohemians. If you get the event for East Frisia offering to join the Empire, I would avoid it. You don't get the Imperial Authority if he joins this way, so just improve with him and see if you can get him to join naturally, and you'll get the 10 Imperial Authority at that time. While you're still at war with the Bohemians, be careful about letting new tags into the Empire. You don't want to go over 50 Imperial Authority and start wasting it. We're going to need a lot to get all of these reforms done super quickly. Once Bohemia is nice and sieged down, take the PU. Give some land over to Poland if you need to. We want to use him in the war against the Hungarians, so we don't want to break alliance with him. Take the mission for conquering Bohemia, but hold off on the one for Hungary until we're fully ready. We don't want to jump the gun. It's time to pass the first reform. Hopefully you should be able to do so just by temporarily allying the Pope. But if you're unlucky like me, Ragusa will join and you'll have to waste 10 Imperial Authority. Not a big deal, but try to avoid it if you can. An alliance with Naples should get him to join as well. Keep an eye out for those opportunities when they present themselves. You don't want to miss them. Now, I will caution you. I attempted several times to get the Teutons to join. He will not do so until he gets smaller. So don't waste your time. I wasted quite a bit. Once you're ready to go on Hungary, call in the Polish and get to work. It really doesn't matter what CB we use. I use the PU CB, but we're not actually going to be enforcing the PU during this war. We're going to be splitting out tags so that we can have them join the Empire after the war. Right around this time, Epirus should join the Empire, and if you're lucky enough to get that, then go for Byzantium. But remember to not let the Imperial Authority go over 50 while you're at war. It's always a danger of wasting, and we don't want to do that. If a country joins provinces other than its capital, this is an indicator that they want to join the HRE but don't have quite enough opinion with you. So improve with them, because they want to join, and they could be giving you 10 Imperial Authority, but you just haven't gotten quite there yet. Once Hungary is ready to peace out, this is what I suggest. Release Nitra, break him with Croatia. Make sure you give some land to the Poles if you promise them land. We don't want to take the trust hit with them and the rest of Europe. Do not get the Union over the Hungarians. We're going to try to release Transylvania and then get the Union in another war. Your CB should last. If you got the 50 Imperial Authority while you're at war, grab the reform. Otherwise, start working on improving with and pulling Croatia and Nitra and some of the other Baltic guys into the Empire so you can pass that reform. You don't want to waste too much while you're at war, but I think that's like the third time I've mentioned that, so I'll shut up about that now. Now, in my game, shortly after the war with him, Hungary decided to go under me in a PU by event. Now, this is actually a little unfortunate because it delayed me getting Transylvania for quite some time, but it also opened up Wallachia as an eligible one, so that's pretty nice. Don't forget about the Knights and Cyprus. If you're able to get Epirus or Byzantium in and a sea tile adjacency, they might be small, but they count for 10 Imperial Authority just like everybody else. So go for them, improve with them. If you can get Cyprus for the Mamluks, you're doing good. Hopefully by now you have enough Imperial Authority to take the third reform, and you don't stupidly accept a call to arms that blocks you from doing so right when you could take it. If something like this happens or you get drawn into other wars, don't worry about it too much. Just try to get out of them as quickly as you can. I would suggest, however, to stop improving with other people that you're intending to try to pull in so that their Imperial Authority doesn't get wasted. Comes in at a time when you could actually use it. Wasting Imperial Authority like this, it really sucks, but it's not that big a deal. You can get over it. It's not always possible to avoid losing large amounts of Imperial Authority. Don't fret about it too much, though. I was still able to revoke the Privilegia quite quickly. So if you are able to clean it up in just a little bit, you'll probably be able to revoke in a much earlier date. Keep trying if you want to make it better. Practice always makes perfect. The next big war we're going to do is against Venice. Imperial ban. Let's try to release some tags near us. Remember, not to be improving with outside people during the war in order to avoid wasting more Imperial Authority. Maybe take this time to improve with your subjects, train up new troops, and try not to get stacked wiped like I was about to do there for a second. Luckily, I think we made it out. Yep. During this war, the Shadow Kingdom Imperial Incident is likely to fire. I suggest going with the option to allow Italian princes to leave the Empire. We'll gain more Imperial authority by inviting them back later. But we also want to avoid the loss of the 20 Imperial authority from this event. So, we're going to try to wrap up this Venice war quickly and pass another reform first, as we can't go negative on Imperial authority, so they can't take that 20 if we don't have any to give. If the event does fire, remember it can stay on the screen a while like any other event, and won't actually come into effect until you hit OK. So peace out any other side enemies that you have, and then peace out Venice for as many tags as you can manage. This might be difficult without a navy, as you can't actually get on Venice itself, but do what you can. Once you're able to pass the reform, then you can dismiss the event and circumvent the loss of Imperial authority. Taking less tags in this peace deal is better than having this 20 Imperial authority hit, believe me. Get to work bringing the Italian princes back in the fold, but keep an eye out for other opportunities like I had here. I helped defend Danzig, and during the war with the Teutons, I was actually able to convince Danzig to join. Later that would allow me to get the Teutons in, and the Livonians, and on and on and on. So, if you see things like this, don't hesitate to be a part of them. Just keep an eye out for your Imperial authority, and don't let it go over 50. The 5th reform gives the perpetual diet, and then lets you move into the decentralized or centralized paths. Keep working on the tags you released from Venice and from the Italian princes who left and need to come back in. We're going to want to try to get the last 4 reforms as quickly as possible. When you get your first idea group, I suggest taking diplomatic. Influence might be more useful in the long run for your whole game, but you're going to need those diplomats. These reforms are going to start getting a little bit harder for you to pass because people aren't going to want to vote for them, and diplomats will be very useful. I finally got the Teutons to join to get the first centralized reform. Core creation cost, I believe. I don't really think we're going to need that at all. Sweden decided that now was the time to declare its independence. But wouldn't you know it, he also decided to join the Empire at the same time. I was kind of surprised by this because of the size, but I was happy about it. Imperial authority jumped by 22, so I'm guessing another person joined at the same time. Quite cool. I didn't think he could join that big. Very cool. Sweden joining the HRE was nice, but as I had just gotten to 50 Imperial authority, I wiped peace so that we could get to going for the next reform. I actually had to spend some time improving with princes and just trying to get them to vote for this reform. Had to wait even until it got up to 60 Imperial authority before I could pass it. But we got it passed. Now it's time to start working on the next. I was actually lucky enough while I was working on the 3rd centralized reform for my emperor to die. Get 10 Imperial authority for being re-elected. Keep an eye on this though, it would really suck to lose the empire at that point. Now I still have to try to proclaim Kaiser, make the HRE hereditary. The princes are not going to like this, but one really good thing that's not shown on there is you actually lose the Diplo slot requirement for your subjects within the empire, which is super nice. So I was having trouble getting the next reform voted for, so I decided to go to war with Poland. I was going to release a few tags. I eventually ended up taking the 2 provinces that we Imperial banned him over as well. I'm hoping to pull Moldavia into the Empire. Shouldn't be too difficult. Now keep in mind though, overextension is a killer when it comes to trying to get something voted for. So if you take any land, I suggest passing it out to a subject so you don't have the overextension penalty to try to get voted for. Now, after I did that, I was able to pass the third centralized reform. Easy peasy. The revoke itself is always the hardest to get. I was able to get the base Imperial Authority around 1473, but it took me some time to get all the princes to vote for it. So I spent the extra time trying to get a few new princes in. Down here in the Caucasus and up towards Novgorod were my main areas. The revoke itself is always the hardest to get. I was able to get the base Imperial Authority we needed in late 1473 in this run, but it took me some time to get all the princes to vote for it. I spent the extra time trying to get a few new princes to pull in, down there in the Caucasus and up around Novgorod. Joining Transylvania and getting the Imperial Authority up to 70 actually unlocked the reform, but I decided to take the time to make sure every prince would vote for it, and that the Pope could rejoin after he had left because of an event. After a few small side wars that I really didn't need to do, and one last quick check that everyone would vote for me, it was time to demand the oaths and revoke the privilegia. We got pulled into a few small internal wars because of this. Keep in mind, if this happens, you may have to re-vassalize a few people, but as long as they voted for the reform, they should stay in. And even those that were formerly subjects of something else, like Sweden under Denmark, will come in, which I thought was really cool, and I didn't realize that when I first did the revoke. I believe yep, scroll up right there, and you see Sweden. Pretty cool, I think. Alright, so here is my version of the HRE. Hopefully yours is even bigger. Now you can watch your minions destroy people like the French. You can break out some new tags that can eventually form new princes. Why not? You can also go against the Russians or the Iberians. There are all kinds of tags on both ends of Europe that you could vassalize and pull into your empire. See how many tags that you can actually get in. I'd love to see what the high score of princes would be. The only problem you're likely to have is with the English. Even the entire HRE combined doesn't have much of a navy to speak of, or at least doesn't use it well, because they're AI. And there it is, guys. Almost 1,500. Probably 2/3 of Europe is in the HRE. Got a bunch of little vassals out here that you could integrate. The ability to attack France, England, Castile, the Ottomans again. I've already integrated most of Scandinavia, in fact all of it. It's pretty good. You could do whatever you want from this point. If you're interested in the save, I will be posting it on my Discord server, so check down below in the description if you want to download that and play with it yourself. But all you gotta do is follow this guide and you will have the Revoke Privilegia and Vassal Swarm probably even quicker than I did. So good luck, and let me know how it goes. If you liked the video, please consider liking, subscribing, and comment down below with other videos that you'd like to see. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.